Our guest this morning on the 830 High Beam Tusc Talks is Dr. Sandra Peck, an early childhood education associate professor at Kent State Tuscarawas. Dr. Peck, good morning.
Good morning.
Sure glad to have you along this morning, and I know things are very interesting in your program, so tell us about the bachelor's and associate degree programs that are available at Kent State Tuscarawas.
At Kent State Tusc, we have both the associate's degree, which is a 2-year program, and it allows our students to graduate and then work with early childhood students through birth through basically kindergarten, so a pre-K license. So they could work in preschools, they can work as a teacher aide, or in other capacities where they work with young children. And then our bachelor's, which was added in 2009, is a 4-year program, and it now allows students to complete the full bachelor's at the Tusc campus, and then they would graduate with a teaching license that covers preschool through 5th grade.
Well, that's very nice, and it can all be completed right here on our campus, right?
Yes.
That makes it ultimately convenient. So,
and a lot of our students will start with the associates. Sometimes they'll take a break and work and then come back, and then they can finish the bachelor's, or they can go straight through for all 4 years.
Right. Yeah, that's a good plan also. So tell us about the successes. Have you seen a lot of graduates that are now in that working field?
Yes, we have. Like I said, the bachelor started in 2009, so our first graduates were 2011, and over the last 10 years, we've had 154 graduates, and several of them are now currently teaching in the local school districts. We also have some teachers that moved out of state, and they're teaching in North Carolina, in Maryland, and Colorado, and another one in Florida. So there's a lot of opportunities out there, but many of ours will stay local, and a lot of them are hired, and they are actually currently mentoring our new teacher candidates that are currently in the program.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about course instructors who are also still actively teaching. That has to be a real benefit because you can find out what's going on absolutely right now.
Yes. Several of our adjunct instructors are local teachers. They currently teach in the elementary school setting. And so they bring a wealth of knowledge and practical application for in the classroom. And I know the students really enjoy hearing their experiences and gaining knowledge from just their day-to-day interactions with their own elementary students.
So what does the program look like now as far as how many are enrolled, and what's the future look like for enrollment in this program?
It's actually been very strong. This year we actually have 25 in our senior class that will graduate this coming May, and then we have 22 in our juniors. So we probably average about 20 students in each. We call them a cohort. They basically start the bachelor's their junior year after they've completed the associates, and they go together through 2 full years of coursework, and then they'll graduate together. So we've been fairly strong, and our numbers actually have been growing each year.
Well, that's a very good sign. So, and I hate to ask, but how things maybe had to change a little bit in the last several months to how the classes are being approached and so forth.
It's been a very unique year. We weren't quite sure how field was going to go this year, but the local schools have been wonderful at accepting our teacher candidates and allowing them physically into the classroom. Most are currently face-to-face, but we also have plans for if they need to go remote or work online, they are able to do that. So even though it's a very different year, they're learning many valuable skills, especially some technological skills that can allow them to connect with students and families who maybe aren't in the physical classroom. So it's definitely different, but they're all learning together, and so far it's been very positive. We really appreciate the mentors from all the local districts that have stepped up and volunteered to work with our students as mentors.
Right, that's so important. And like you said, with the technology, I think we're going to continue to use this in the future, but maybe not be quite as locked into it as we have had to be over the past few weeks and months. But I think we're learning a lot about how to do that, and maybe that's going to help some people that learn perhaps better in that way. Do you think that's possible?
Mm-hmm. I think so. I think there can be a really nice balance between both the technology and the face-to-face. So there's a lot of benefits, and I think we will learn quite a few positives, even though it's kind of a negative experience. I think there's going to be a lot of positives that come out of this experience.
I agree.
For future teaching, yeah. So it'll be unique, but it's so far they've all really been excited, and they're learning a lot of new techniques with the mentors in their classrooms.
This seems to be an area where you'd get a lot of students who are passionate about it. That's why they've chosen this. What would your advice be to a high school upperclassman who is considering childhood education as maybe their chosen profession and are looking at Kent State Tuscarawas to be their first step toward that?
We have a great program to start with. We do a lot of observations and field work right off the bat in their freshman year. There's a couple intro-level classes, so they can start with those classes, and they can decide whether or not this is the age level that they'd like to work with. And there are also some high schools that have some teacher education programs where they may have a course or two that will count as what we call College Credit Plus. So there are some options within the local schools. There's Educators Rising, which is another local group that some of the high schools participate in, and that sometimes will give the high school students an opportunity to experience or to learn more about the field of teacher education. But if not, our freshman year, they have opportunities to explore, and we have they'll end up with over 500 field hours before they even get to their senior student teaching. So hopefully somewhere in those first couple years, they can decide if this is a good fit for them.
Well, that sounds like there's a lot of availabilities and options with the groundwork there. So it's well set out, and this is a great place to go, isn't it?
Yes, and if they decide they want to do middle school or even high school, they can start at the Tusc campus and do their foundational courses, and then they can go up to the Start campus for middle childhood. But if they want to go high school, then they have to go up to the Kent campus.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know that's still great options, and we thank you for kind of filling us in on that. And a lot of people have that desire, and it sounds like this is the place to go. So thank you, and
you're welcome.
Continued success with the program.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
That's been our pleasure. We've been speaking with Dr. Sandra Peck, Early Childhood Education Associate Professor at Kent State Tuscarawas on Tusc Talks this morning.